My name is Matthew Harp. I work at Arizona State University as a digital projects librarian. I live in Arizona. I've picked Elie Wiesel's Night. It's about the Holocaust in Auschwitz. And the reason I picked this book was because when it first came out and it was on the Oprah Winfrey Show, my girlfriend at the time said, "What's the Holocaust?" So we got the book and we both read it and we both learned a lot. I mean, obviously I knew about the Holocaust, but she didn't. So I think that to me, this was a very pivotal thing because I realized, there was a lot of uninformation out there. So I'm going to read, starting with a chapter in the book. The cherished objects we had brought with us thus far were left behind in the train, and with them at last our illusions. Every 2 yards or so, an SS man held his Tommy gun trained on us. Hand in hand, we followed the crowd. An SS uncommissioned officer came to meet us, a truncheon in his hand. He gave the order. Men to the left, women to the right. 8 words spoken quietly, indifferently, without emotion. 8 short, simple words. Yet that was the moment when I partnered for my mother. I had not had time to think, but already I felt the pressure of my father's hand. We were alone. For a part of a second, I glimpsed my mother and my sisters moving away to the right. Tizapora held my mother's hand. I saw them disappear into the distance. My mother was stroking my sister's fair hair, as though to protect her, while I walked on with my father and the other men. And I did not know that in that place, at that moment, I was parting from my mother and Tizapora forever. I went on walking. My father held on to my hand. Behind me, an old man fell to the ground. Near him was an SS man, putting his revolver back in his holster. My hand shifted on my father's arm. I had one thought, not to lose him, not to be left alone. The SS officer gave the order, "Form 5s. Commotion, at all cost, we must keep together." "Here, kid, how old are you?" It was one of the prisoners who asked me this. I could not see his face, but his voice was tense and weary. "I'm not quite 15 yet." "No, 18. "But I'm not," I said. "15. "Fool, listen to what I say." Then he questioned my father, who replied, 50. The other grew more furious than ever. "No, not 50, 40. Do you understand? 18 and 40. He disappeared into the night shadows. A second man came up, spitting oaths at us. "What have you come here for, you sons of bitches? What are you doing here, eh?" Someone dared to answer him. "What do you think? Do you suppose we've come here for our own pleasure? Do you think we've asked to come?" A little more, and the man would have killed him. "You shut your trap, you filthy swine, or I'll squash you right now. You'd have done better to have hanged yourselves where you were than to come here. Didn't you know what was in store for you at Auschwitz? Have you heard about it in 1944? No, we had not heard. No one had told us. He could not believe his ears. His tone of voice became increasingly brutal. "Do you see that chimney over there? See it? Do you see those flames?" Yes, we did see the flames. Over there. "That's where you're going to be taken. That's your grave, over there. Haven't you realized it yet, you dumb bastards? Don't you understand anything? You're going to be burned, frizzled away, turned into ashes." He was growing hysterical in his fury. We stayed motionless, petrified. Surely it was all a nightmare, an unimaginable nightmare. I heard murmurs around me. "We've got to do something. We can't let ourselves be killed. We can't go like beasts to slaughter. We've got to revolt." There were a few sturdy young fellows among us. They had knives on them, and they tried to incite the others to throw themselves on the armed guards. One of the young men cried, "Let the world learn of the existence of Auschwitz. Let everybody hear about it while they can still escape." But the older ones begged their children not to do anything foolish. "You must never lose faith, even when the sword hangs over your head. That's the teaching of our sages." The wind of revolt died down. We continued our march toward the square. In the middle stood the notorious Dr. Mengele, a typical SS officer, a cruel face, but not devoid of intelligence, and wearing a monocle.